we gonna have a good time and keep you with the know. Let all your trouble go. In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know, in the know.
Wrapping up an incredible month on our topic, music and mental health. And today I have a very special guest. I mean, a very dear friend. Like I told you guys, I know some incredible people in this city. And so I'm grateful to share them with you on today. And so I get the honor of introducing her on a professional level. So stay tuned. Dr. Courtney Edwards-Randolph is now an accomplished Oxford University Press contributor. I just love the sound of that. Whose research informs society on the experiences of working in the field of psychology as a practitioner and professor. She earned her PhD in psychology from Walden University and her master's degree in mental health counseling from Nova Southeastern University. Dr. Edwards-Randolph has served in the field of counseling and psychology since 2011 as a therapist and a psychology professor. She currently serves as an assistant psychology professor at Edward Waters University and an adjunct professor at Jacksonville University and Florida State College at Jacksonville. She is passionate about all things relationships, the function and dysfunction of them. Yeah, that's important. Dr. Courtney strives to always remain a student of the field of psychology to provide fresh knowledge to her students and effective therapeutic techniques to her clients. Her life's endeavor is to continue to affect positive change in society. Wherever you are, snap it up. Clap it up for my dear friend, Dr. Courtney. Hi, Dr. Courtney.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, I'm so honored. I'll get you a little bit closer here so that way we can hear you. Man, Dr. Edwards, it is Dr. Edwards-Randolph. I have the Mr. in the building today, so I got to make sure that I add that tag at the end. Thank you again for coming today and just really kind of putting, I said the cherry on the top last week, but today you're boxing it up and we're sending it out into the world for others to be able to utilize personally how these two titles really merge together, music and mental health. And I brought you here today really as two parts. One, ship it out, and then to help segue into what we're doing next month, which is tying in education. Where school has started back, colleges are back in as well, so not everybody's getting their learning on. And so whenever we are learning things, there is a mindset that we do have to have. So you're going to be able to kind of help us make that transition. How do you feel about that?
I hope I have the right information.
You got it. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. Before we get into the topic, just want to get to know you. Let the audience know about you. I know these things, but where are you from, Doctor?
I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. Duval.
Duval County. Stand up. Oh. We got to make sure. Oh, we got a little tech here. Okay. Go ahead and say that again. Where are you from, Dr. Edwards?
Jacksonville, Florida. Duval.
Now we can hear. We want to make sure y'all hear everything that she is saying out there. And I'm going to say Dr. Courtney today for our interview. Okay. I think that'll be good. So you are from Duval County. What schools did you go to?
High school was Mandarin High School. Mighty Mustangs.
Okay.
And as far as college,
Yeah.
The illustrious FAMU.
Oh, the illustrious. But wasn't there another one you went to as well?
Absolutely.
Oh,
no.
Yes,
absolutely.
I think I'm representing the colors today. That wasn't even on purpose, but when I put it on, I thought of you.
Oh, yes.
What was the other?
I earned my associate's degree from FAMU.
Okay.
And I transferred to the Florida State University.
Literally, she's doing the gestures and everything. So all you rattlers out there, all you Seminoles out there, she is repping hard for you. I wish you could see her. And those of you who are online on Facebook, what's up, my Facebook group? Y'all can see all of the gesturing that's there. So you are a native of Jacksonville. You are a Florida alum. What are some nicknames that Dr. Courtney has had?
Well, my family affectionately calls me Coco.
Okay.
Or Kokomo.
Okay.
I have an aunt who calls me kind of like by my middle name, Tamarina. My middle name is Tamara, but she calls me Tamarina.
I love that.
Jeannie. And I have a cousin that calls me Cocolata. My granddad, my maternal grandfather, called me Cocolata, and so she just kept it going.
Sounds like a drink. Cocolata. Yeah, that makes sense. Those are cute. So you have a little arsenal of nicknames that like we can use. I like Coco. I think that's my nickname for you. It's Coco, Dr. Coco, Dr. Coco. So Dr. Coco, in this title that we've been talking about, music and mental health, let me get this out of the way right now. What are some of your favorite genres of music? I know you're a lover of all things music as well. What are some of your faves?
So, gospel, Christian contemporary, R&B. I love jazz. So yeah, those are like the ones that stand out to me right now, but I like music.
Yeah,
period.
Music of the soul. It definitely helps us to feel good, and depending upon what type of music that we're listening to, when we're listening to that music, it definitely can carry a lot more than other types that we might listen to when we're more in a happier mood, or we're doing an activity or engaging in some type of event. So that is a beautiful thing about having all those different types of options and those preferences whenever we're talking about music. So Dr. Coco, what inspired you to get into your field?
Well, that's a long story, but
Okay.
I'll try to shorten it.
All right.
All of my life, I've had an opportunity and blessed with people feeling comfortable talking to me and sharing things personally from their experiences.
Yeah.
Stories that I had no experience with, and I just did not understand why I was chosen, but I didn't understand at the time it was a call. And so I pursued other things that I do still feel is a part of my destiny. My undergraduate degree is in fashion design. Yes. And so I got married right after graduation from undergrad, and that marriage was not a successful did not have a successful end. And so, but throughout that marriage, we tried therapy. And I learned then the importance of therapy. We only went to 2 sessions.
Okay.
But in those 2 sessions, it really opened up an understanding of how much we can learn and the tools that can be gained through therapy.
Yeah.
And so as I was healing and on this healing journey, I was praying, Lord, where do you want me to go? And what should I study? Yeah. Because fashion at the time was not as fruitful as it had been for me. And then I decided to start studying mental health. I did some research and I found out that was more of like what I should go into versus like the different types of counseling. Yeah. And so I was suggested to do mental health. So I enrolled at Nova, Southeastern University, and then that's how it just kept going.
I love this. So those of you who've been listening in this last month, you probably hear some familiar themes that we've been talking about and some familiar outcomes. And a lot of it is what you just said in terms of how we arrived at our careers. It was through hardship. It was through those things that we didn't ask for, we didn't look for, but God already had a plan in place to make it work for the good, and not just for the good of us, but for the good of all the other people that were going to be beneficiaries of us saying yes. Because what would you be doing? You probably don't even know.
I don't know.
Something great, of course. But the impact and your reach is so far because of that situation. And so here you are today, which is awesome. So what is something that you are working on? We kind of talked off air about a new role that you're in right now. Not a new role, but a new place that you're in. Tell us what you're doing.
So I am newly at JU as an adjunct professor. I'm excited about that. I love my roles at Edward Waters University. I'm a full-time professor there, and just meeting the new students every semester, it just helps like to improve, like grow my passion for the field of psychology. Yeah. I see that they are ready to learn, their light bulbs are on, and I'm just grateful that I can impart what I have and the experience and knowledge that I have.
I hear fresh meat fresh minds,
Absolutely.
fresh ideas. I'm sure they have all types of perspectives. And do you ever have those students who they come in thinking they already know more, a little more, or just as much as the professor, and you can kind of pick that up in either their questioning or their response?
Oh yeah, I would think that that's kind of normal, just in life general, and that's okay, because you might know more than me in certain things, right? And so I allow that to be a free space for them to share, because I will always remain a student of the field. I want to posture myself in a learning position so that I can learn, and I don't ever know too much.
Right.
So sometimes students will share things that I haven't heard of.
Yeah.
And so it's good for me.
Especially this generation, because I mean they have much more access to things that we didn't. And even in our research, I know I, as an older, person, not that much, but I can see some of those older ways when I'm being asked to do something new, especially with technology and research. And younger people, they're raised in that, so they're normalized to try to test what a person may say, prove that they are actually correct and that it's accurate. And my research may be 2 days old, and what they've researched that morning, well, this morning, and this is what this says, and you're like, but you're right. So we do have to maintain that posture of humility and openness to be able to hear what our students and what younger people have to share.
Absolutely. And so, I let them know this is a social science, which means it's ever evolving. So I'm not going to know everything.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, because we're all navigating and through experiences, and again, through research and the things that we are coming into new knowledge of. It is an enlightenment moment for all of us, which is great. That's so freeing too. That takes the pressure off for you to, in that position. Like, I got to come in here, I got to make sure I know the things, and it's like, no, I don't, and I never will.
Especially especially in a world of Google, with phones right in your hand. Like you mentioned, they are tech babies, so I can, introduce a topic or approach. It's likely they'll pick up their phone to check it,
to check you out. You gotta stay on your toes. Yes.
Fact check it. And so it's like, you better know.
You better know.
Or release yourself from having to know.
Yes. That's good. Yeah. And because that in and of itself can be a stressor. And we know in terms of mental health, that is one of the number one issues of how the reason why we have to manage our mental health well is because of the multiple stressors that we have to deal with on an ongoing basis from one moment to the next. Once you think you've accomplished or mastered one thing, something new comes in, and then now I'm having to make this mental shift, and you're like, okay, how am I going to handle this situation? So mental health and music, how do you see those two elements coming together in a positive way?
Oh yeah, very positive. When you think about how we move about in our day, there's always sound. So no, it may not be music, but sound around, right? But then when we turn into or tap into what we like as far as genres, when we want to calm down, we'll turn on whatever it is that we connect with, right? Even back in the day when elevators were created, they had elevator music to help with anxiety, right? To calm people down so that they can get from one level of the building to the next. When you walk into retail stores, there's music, right? Calming music, something enjoyable so that you can relax, because the whole goal is for you to spend your money.
Right.
So you can be comfortable. And so they're going to have the atmosphere set that will be conducive for sales.
I love that too, because not only that, but you're demonstrating the importance of transitioning and preparation. Because the elevator music, I'm at the first floor, I may need to get to the 16th floor. From 1 to 16, I'm able to help myself transition from whatever it is that I'm going from and going to. Just like with the shopping as well, I'm preparing myself, and of course, the psychology of them playing that music to get you hyped to spend all your coins. But a way that we can apply that to our lives is, which I've been noticing I need to do more of, is allowing myself that transition time. And during that transition time from one task, one call, one problem to the next, will help me mentally to de-stress and to prepare to tackle whatever it is that's next. I like that. Transition.
Oh, yeah.
Transition. And speaking of transition, we have been talking about the music that really speaks to us as professionals, as human beings, and things that we can really pull upon immediately whenever we need a quick little shift in our thinking and our emotions, on our perspective on a particular problem or issue, especially when there's not a whole lot of time. The society we live in, it's go, go, go. Not a good thing per se, but it's the reality of what we're in. And so we do have to kind of pull those tools that we know, okay, this is the tool I need right now because this is something that just can't wait. And so one of the songs that you gave to me, which is one of my favorites, one of the old school songs, but it's still a good one, is Turn It Around. Why is that one of your go-tos?
Israel is performed by Israel Houghton and New Breed, and it's the music, it's the lyrics, it's upbeat tempo. You know, research says that if we can get music that has 60 beats per minute, our brains will match it, and it will help us to calm down, and it will really help regulate our mood, even our physiological health.
Yeah.
So that song is just a message to me. It's encouraging. Turn it around. You know, don't get stuck in the moment.
Right.
Don't get stuck in what's been going on.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Transition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get into it. Well, enjoy this song, Turn It Around by Israel Houghton. I haven't heard this in so long. This takes me back. Hey, Chantel. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I don't like my voice.
Oh, you have a beautiful voice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice. Turn it around. Okay. How you feel? You feel good? Okay. Good. Okay, so you already tackled this one. So the 60 decibels for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandy. Hi, Tressa. Hey, cousin.
So I think when we go back in, we will Chantel say hey. My headphones look a little bit better. So I'm gonna ask you, like, what is the building blocks of psychology?
The building blocks.
Are there like building blocks of psychology and thinking? Like boom, 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 boom. I'm thinking this thought, why? I'm thinking a negative thought. Why am I thinking a negative thought? Oh, I'm just trying to think of a way that we can address psychology in a like 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of way. So I would ask you if you could tell me what are the building blocks of psychology. Is there a way that you can answer that in a like one, first it's this, second it's this, third it's this?
Oh, okay.
Or if I said, I'm feeling the emotion of anxiety. Why am I feeling the emotion of anxiety? Why, if I'm trying to ask myself, I'm feeling the emotion of anxiety, what is the psychology behind that emotion?
Okay.
And you say, well, you're feeling this because it might be A, there's a problem. B, you might need to check your diet. C, you need to do just something that's kind of very clear, listed.
Okay.
Which is easier for you to kind of explain or answer? Building blocks of psychology, or give me the reason, give me a possible rationale as to why I'm experiencing anxiety. And I know that's a big, because anxiety can be me sitting on the radio right now, or my daughter's with somebody else. I mean, it's kind of broad, but in a general kind of.
Yeah. I mean, anxiety is just being uneasy. It's nervousness.
Right.
It can come from not being able to predict the future. So it just depends on the level of anxiety that a person experiences. We all go through nervousness. Right. And so when we are experiencing the nervousness, you know, it sets off our sympathetic nervous system, which sends us into almost like panic mode. So if you've ever heard of fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, that's a new one now, where, you know, so the person is they're trying to figure out, how do I want to handle this? And so sometimes people, the fight would be, I stay in it and I make it work. The freeze is where you literally go in shock and you just get stuck, paralyzed. And then the fight, flight, where you leave. Okay, and so like you just abandon the situation altogether. So sometimes people suppress, right? They'll suppress. I don't want to talk about it. I'm good. Yeah. You know, and all of that that's a defense mechanism, which is negative. It doesn't help us. So
I'm gonna pause you there. So because you're right on track. Okay. So I can say, when a person is dealing with anxiety, what should they do? And you can say, well, first we can acknowledge what type of, and you can go through the fight, flight, or freeze. And then at that point, kind of determine what your next step is. Okay. So that'll be in this segment that I'll ask it, and that'll be more of a little bit more of a meatier explanation.
And you can ask me about psychology as well. Like, I mean, I can give the definition of psychology, and what we use is biopsychosocial model. Okay. So,
cool. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this.
Oh, y'all can't hear the song.
Yeah, they can't.
Can you hear that? It's ending now.
And that was Turn It Around by Israel Houghton and New Breed. And we hope that you're out there experiencing things turning around in your favor, especially on this beautiful Saturday. And we want you to know that the In the Know radio show is sponsored by Tailor Made Voices, where we produce fearless, bold, confident speakers. For more information, you can go to www.tailormadevoices.com. And for all of the Victory Station listeners, we want you to remember that the 4535 anniversary banquet is coming up Friday, November 15th at 7 p.m. at Deerwood Castle. For more information on tickets, you can call 904-766-9955. And those of you that are just now tuning in, we have our special guest in the studio today, Dr. Courtney Edwards-Randolph, who I am affectionately considering today as Dr. Coco. How you feeling, Dr. Coco?
Pretty good.
Thank you for sharing us with that song. Man, that just took me down memory lane. And you know what? It's so good to hear those types of songs, because we can forget some of the music that really does speak to our soul, and music that can really pull us out of those pits and those dark places that we may find ourselves in, especially unexpectedly, because life is moving so quickly. And when life moves so quickly, sometimes we can find ourselves in places of depression, oppression, or even anxiety, which we hear the word anxiety a lot. And unfortunately, we even hear it with our children. We can see it, even if they don't know that the word is anxiety. The symptoms and the behaviors that they're exhibiting kind of mirror that of anxiety. And so a couple of questions I want to ask the professor. I'm putting my little professor hat on. I don't have my glasses right now. But tell us, what is psychology? We're going to talk about psychology, and then I think that's going to help us when we acknowledge some of the things that we personally may go through that is on the heels of that foundation of psychology.
Okay, yeah. Psychology, I love this, to give this definition and challenge my students. I ask them, what is your definition of psychology? And so usually they'll say, it's the study of the brain, it's the study of behavior, which is good, but that we include the term scientific. So it's the scientific study of mental health, of mental processing. And so it's important that people understand it is not just a study, it's a scientific study. So anybody can go, like we just talked about, on Google or pick up a book and study about the brain and behavior. But what makes it scientific is that we follow the scientific method. Right? It's an algorithm, it's a formula that has to be used in order for it to be become a theory, right? Or become something that is credible.
Okay.
And so that is psychology in a nutshell. We're understanding human behavior, why we do what we do or not.
Yeah.
And then how we process it mentally.
Process. That's a good word. That's a good word. I like that too. I like it, and it makes me think about it, because it seems like there is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, there is room for modification with that definition of psychology, because it is the scientific, and because science is ever evolving and things are always changing.
Absolutely.
The methods, the outcomes, what we learn about it seems to ever change, like us. Just like we think we know ourselves until we don't, when something happens and it's like, oh, I didn't know that about myself. I didn't know I could experience something like that. So that kind of helps us to even be okay with what was once known and what was once, and not that it's not factual, but the standard is something that actually can change.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Ever evolving field, because it is a science. And so we need to be open. As, like I said earlier in the first segment, be a student of the field.
Yeah.
Continue to learn.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And because we need to continue to learn, that learning is going to help us to be able to manage any types of shifts and changes that we might experience within our lives. And just getting back to anxiety, when a person is experiencing anxiety, what are some things that they can try to acknowledge when they're in that moment?
I think, it's important for people to first be in touch with what is actually happening. So that starts with being in tune with you, with yourself. A positive coping mechanism that can be used daily and throughout the day numerous times is introspection. So when we introspect, meaning look within, we are more in tune with who we are. So when things change, like you mentioned, transitions, when we go the traffic, getting to work late, or a child sick, or my students coming in late, or can't make it, or not answering questions, or whatever the case may be, it is acknowledging who you are and noticing the difference, right? So that's the introspection, and you're able to say, I like this about me, I'll keep doing it. I don't like this, how can I change it, right? So that introspection helps you to be basically one with yourself, right? And so when anxiety comes about, we can recognize it, where it's not a case where it's like, I don't know what's happening.
Right.
You would know if you're introspecting. And so anxiety is simply nervousness. We all go through nervous. I mean, I'm having a little anxiety right now because this is live.
You're doing amazing, girl.
But it's a natural response, right? But being able to know what's actually happening is what's important. So nervousness happens, we get uneasy, we feel unsettled, and that's okay. But it is how to collect ourselves. So taking a moment to acknowledge what's happening. Why do I feel this way? Why am I jittery? Why is my stomach in knots? Why is my breathing erratic right now? And when you acknowledge that, then you can put into place some breathing coping mechanisms, so positive coping mechanisms like deep belly breathing.
Yes.
And so something so simple, we all are breathing, thankfully.
Yes. Better be.
So,
if you're not breathing in here, we need to shift what's happening.
So it's just a matter of focusing on your breathing, right? And so breathing in your nose and out through your mouth. So the inhale is where you should be blowing up your diaphragm. It's almost as if like you have a balloon inside, and then you're blowing it out of your mouth. And you're giving yourself time to just kind of regulate.
And that's so important, because a lot of times, we talked about it last week, how we live in a society in a time where stopping and pausing and just being quiet, doing nothing, is such a challenge. I know when I work with individuals for their communication, we talk about fillers and extra words, those ums, and I'm gonna go and those ums, they don't serve a purpose, only to fill the time and the space, when really, if you would stop, think about what you're gonna say, you would have a better understanding of what's happening, and the other person on the other side that's listening can continue to process what's happening. So to your point, we do owe it to ourselves to stop, check in with ourselves, not feel like we have to push through those episodes, because pushing through isn't really helping anything. It's probably increasing the stress.
It's increasing the anxiety, the stress. Your stress levels are increasing, you know, and the introspection is going to help you to be able to say, take that break.
Yeah.
Take a beat.
Yeah.
Pause. You know, but sometimes when we are not introspecting, we will deal with, you know, where the fight, flight, or freeze. And now the new one is fawn. You know, and
what's the new one?
Fawn. Yeah, it's like when you are the person that you are having the trauma with. It's almost like a connection there where you're kind of like not really experiencing, or I should say, I don't want to explain it. And see,
it's okay. You're thinking like there's a connection. It seems almost like a cause and effect,
right?
With the other person.
It's kind of like it's a trauma response to the person that you are having a problem with.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I have to research that one.
Yeah.
Got to add that one to that response, because that is something that we do. But some people, if they don't pause, they will grapple at something instead of looking within.
Oh yeah.
So there are some negatives, of course. We're not going to get into all of them, but music is definitely one. I often look at people, and we probably all experience this when we're driving in the car, and you can see a head bobbing in front of you, in the car in front of you. The light is green, but you bobbing in the car. I need you to go. You are not attending to what you're supposed to be doing, number one, so the external behavior. And then number two, of course, I'm thinking, what is that person experiencing right now? What are they escaping from? What are they trying to cope? And this isn't all the time, because we're trying to get to where we need to go. So, you know, this is just in this moment. I'm thinking about these individuals may be compensating for something else and allowing that music to take that space where they themselves should be looking within. Because sometimes music, and you tell me what you think, if music can be a help, can music be both a help and a hindrance?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So music can definitely be positive. It can help. Well, it depends on the type of music you're listening to, right?
Okay.
So if you're trying to create a place of peace and calm, then you want to listen to like classical. You want to listen to like an ambient music, right? That's going to calm you down. It'll help with blood flow. It'll help regulate your system. Our autonomic system is ready and prepared to work for us. And so when we are on an alert or we are experiencing some anxiety, our sympathetic nervous system goes into place, and it's there to help us with emergencies. But when we are using soft, slow tempo music, it will help to calm that, and we can stay in parasympathetic. Okay, it's the calming down phase.
Yeah.
So it regulates our blood pressure, our heart rate, our breathing. Now, so that's the positive side. And it can also be of music. It can also be encouraging depending on the lyrics that you're listening to.
Right.
Okay, and so then you have the negative side. Lyrics.
What is it saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And it
What
can
is speaking over you?
It can also be related to the actual music, the beats that's on the music, right? So you have the sonic space, and if the music is competing, like the instruments, I should say, if they're competing, and it creates that, I don't know, it's
like a contrast of sounds. Yeah.
It can be very frustrating. It can make things worse, you know, and so when
kind of exacerbate that negative feeling that you're going through at that moment.
Right. So if you're trying to sleep and you're listening to heavy music with lots of lyrics, you're fighting against being able to relax.
Yeah. So putting those things in place, it needs to be something that is habitual. It is something that, especially when you're going through those different seasons of life, we're embarking upon. I know it's about to be just September, but I'm telling you, I'm sure you guys have been in the stores, and we've already seen some of the holiday stuff. It's this is America. So even knowing what is coming up, being preemptive, and having just, either whether it's music in place, whether it's having that quiet time in place where you're able to do that introspection, to check in with yourself, that can help with decreasing those levels of anxiety. No, we can't always control what's going to come, but we can recognize and have things in place for when it does show up. And we can hopefully get out of that space a little bit quicker. That is such a great thing. I love this. I love this so much. And so this next song is a good one. This is another good one. This is Kirk Franklin's Father Knows Best. This is a new one. And man, if you guys have not seen the documentary, oh my, Dr. Coco. Okay, we'll talk on the break. Tell us why you chose this as another one of your go-to songs.
It's a twofold for me.
Okay.
You know, first in the natural, then in the spirit.
Yeah.
You know, and having my father here, I'm blessed to have him, to be able to confide in, to trust him, and that song speaks to that. But then on the spiritual side, I know that my Father, my God, knows best, and I can just relax.
Yeah.
And trust.
You talk about a anxiety decreaser. When we lean on and remind ourselves on who has all of this down here under control, man, that's a transition right there. So enjoy this next song by Kirk Franklin, Father Knows Best.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I don't know much about live, so.
Yeah, you need to watch that documentary.
Say that again?
You need to, and this isn't on the album. I was just thinking because the name of his new album is, oh God, something Father. But the documentary where Kirk met his father. You didn't see
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. Where is it?
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about
I actually forgot about it.
an hour.
I've been wanting to see it, but I forgot about it. Because it's like maybe, almost a year old now?
Yeah. It was right before Father's Day last year.
Oh, so it's a year old.
It's a year old.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was while he was working on his last album. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It's that song always just resonates with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my dad has always been dependable. So he's been a good example of
What a Heavenly
a
Father.
heavenly father, right? So
That's good.
that song
good.
calms me down.
Yeah.
Especially in the absence of my mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's so interesting because I miss my dad, but there was a lot of unlearning I had to do because of him in terms of my relationship with God. Because I viewed my God like you do God based on your dad. I viewed him like my natural dad. And it wasn't so. So I had to unlearn. You know, you don't know what you don't know. You know, so there's no fault, into that. But it's like, oh, this isn't how God would respond. Oh, this isn't how God handles this. Oh, no, this isn't how, and so having to kind of unlearn those things. So when I do approach God, when I do, have to think about a situation, it's like, okay, now I have a more clear understanding of how our Heavenly Father, would actually handle that.
And I like that you said that about unlearning things because even, my dad's not perfect.
Right.
And I have found, things that I'm like, what? And if we're not careful, we will approach God the same way.
Right.
Because of our natural father, right? And so sometimes when there is an absence of a father, people struggle to be able to be vulnerable with God.
Absolutely.
Because we compare him to the natural. But there is that, you're right, there are some things that we have to unlearn because they're not the same.
Right.
But that speaks to the natural and the spiritual. And that keeps God sovereign at the top. You know what I mean? And let us know that we can't worship man.
Let's talk about that. I think that's good. I think that'd be a good segue
Thank you, Betty.
into kind of closing out with the topic, the unlearning, because even though science says this, culture says this, there are some things that we've pinned as truth and fact that are not, and requires an unlearning. So if you can maybe talk about what unlearning looks like from a psychology perspective or just behaviorally, And then kind of, we're moving forward almost to the point of becoming that student again. And I think that'd be a good segue into the education, because when you're unlearning, now I have to learn again. I don't need this anymore, but I need to learn the right way of how to, handle a situation or be okay with the situation that I once was told I shouldn't be, because, you don't know what you don't know until you...
Right.
Until
and sometimes
you figure out.
sometimes it happens at the most inopportune time.
Yes. Right? Yeah.
Hi, cousin Zakari. Thank you, Auntie. Yeah, sometimes that can be the hardest part.
Yeah.
What you thought you knew.
Right.
And then you realize, oh no, that was wrong.
And for so long. For so long. But thank goodness, God has a way of redeeming time.
Yes, He does. And it's a way of staying humble, keeping you humble. You get into the mindset of that you know everything.
It all.
That's pride. You can't. How can you grow? You can't. So. And
it's the ignorance of it all. I'm a product of that. Some things you just, because again, culture, upbringing, things that you were told, this is the way, and then you find out along the way, no, this isn't the way. And this is the danger of it not being the way. But now that you know the way, there's a grace there for you to be able to shift in that way of thinking, and now you can learn the right way and proceed. And then we can see the fruit of it in our lives, which is an incredible thing. Father knows best. Okay. It's 1:41. It goes that fast, don't it?
Hey, Baba, Shandra. Thank you, cousin. My family's on.
Yay.
Hi, family.
This has been good. You hear that?
Yeah. Unlearning. But it's good.
It's so good.
It's good.
That's living. That's knowing. That's being in the know. And that was Father Knows Best by Kirk Franklin. Father Knows Best. And you're listening to the In the Know radio show with Michellita Taylor. And I have live in the studio Dr. Coco, professionally known as Dr. Courtney Edwards-Randolph. And we are just concluding our incredible topic this month on music and mental health. And man, that song resonated with both of us. We were just talking off air about our fathers, her father who's still present, mine who's with our Heavenly Father right now. And, we think there are things that we know, or there were things that we knew that we use as kind of guidelines and bylaws for our lives, only to find out that they were wrong. And, sometimes whenever we're finding out that information, it does something to us. It halts you. It can anger you because you've lived a life under these types of rules, these types of untruths. Truths to some, because that was their truth, but only to find out in the end that for us as believers, as humans, that it wasn't something. And so we're just talking about off air how when we run into that situation, whenever we find out, man, this isn't right. This isn't a way that I should be living. This isn't a way that I should be processing a problem. This isn't the way I should be treating someone. Although I was taught to do these things, I now, as a mature thinker, as an independent thinker, I can acknowledge that I need to shift and I need to unlearn. How does one get into that mode of saying, you know what, I need to unlearn some things?
Unlearning, again, is staying. Will be able to unlearn if you learn to stay in the posture of a student.
As a student.
Right? And so when you realize that you've been taught something that is not fruitful, that's not, in the will of the Lord for your life, or whatever the case may be, it could be also very helpful. Of course, I'm going to advocate for therapy.
Yeah. Yes, please do.
That you get with a clinical therapist. Yeah. Someone that is trained to be able to help you process what you are experiencing mentally and behaviorally. Because sometimes what we thought was right, like you said, we have gone into it and we've practiced it for so long, and then we're realizing that there's no victory or there's no success with that outcome or with that practice. And so being okay to say, I'm not okay, or being okay to say, I need to change that behavior, brings back the whole introspection, right? Being in tune with yourself. And then if it's too much for you to handle, so there are some things you can do on your own. You can journal, right? To try to chart what you're doing. You can goal set. Depending on your relationship with God, anybody's relationship with God, you can pray.
Yes.
Right?
Please pray.
So
he already knows, so bring it to him.
But it does help with aligning and putting things into perspective. Our Father, our earthly Father, is just that.
Yes.
He's human and can make mistakes, but it keeps our perspective of God correct. And it redirects us into thinking and believing and trusting in God, our Heavenly Father, to give us direction. And so that introspection keeps us aligned with ourselves, in tune with ourselves, but also being able to put things in perspective and a hierarchy. And being able to see, okay, there are some things that need to shift. So that I can grow and do better. And that's okay.
It is so okay. It's not just okay, it's great. Like you said, we're always growing. As long as we're here, we got breath in our bodies, we have dreams, we have people that we can connect with. We should always be in a posture of growing. So it makes, like you said, with the introspection, we should always be kind of checking our own methodology as to how we're handling situations, and being open to other people's opinions of maybe how they're handling theirs, to see, you know what, that's a good point. I need to change that. I need to unlearn what I've been doing. So that way, when I move forward, I can apply this and see if it works better. And I love that.
I have Betty who said, unlearning is so hard. True. That is very true. But giving yourself the grace to say, I deserve to change and grow and do better. And then also knowing I can do hard things.
Yes, I can do hard things.
Especially when it's making me better.
And I love too, whenever you're kind of letting someone know, like you went with therapy or talking to your strong friend, when you're actually saying that you're unlearning something, now you have some accountability. So because we do fall back into old patterns. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been thinking this way for 20 years. I want to change now. Well, you've been in it for 20 years. So it may take some time. There might be some relapse, but to let a person know, this is what I'm unlearning. This is what I'm working towards behaviorally. Now they can kind of see and help me to continue on that path.
Oh yeah. Accountability is such a very needed factor in when you're trying to grow. As in any way. Having someone that you can trust that will hold you to what the goal is you set.
I love that.
And then it also keeps us humble.
Come on.
So we have to,
because we don't know it all.
We don't.
Only He knows. Father knows.
And so if we're not humble, then that's prideful.
Man. Dr. Coco, this has been so good. I thank you so much for being with us today. There are some things that are happening in the community. We're all about resources and wanting just to be informed. We want to be empowered. We want to make sure that we can tap into what Jacksonville and abroad may have to offer in terms of workshops or webinars. What are some events that are coming up?
I will actually be a guest speaker at a community event that's coming up September 27th. It's a free event. All are welcomed. It's on FSCJ downtown campus. It is the Community Mental Health Summit. So it's going to be running all day. It's several speakers. There will be different breakout rooms titled with whatever that speaker wants to share. I'll be talking about stress equals me. Or I'm sorry, it's not stress equals me. It's oh, it just left me.
Bring it back, God. Bring it back.
Right.
Bring it back.
It just left me.
Well, stress equals ...
Right.
Before we end this show, you're going to know what it is. How does a person, do they have to register or do they just show up?
I believe you can just show up.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to register. You don't have to be a student. It's open to the community.
What's the
Just
time?
It's all day. I believe
Okay.
it starts from 8 a.m. until about 5
Okay.
p.m.
Okay.
And it's on FSCJ's downtown campus. It is the Community Mental Health Summit
Okay.
on September 27th.
And this is a free event.
Free event.
Free, and come on, free 99, everybody. Free 99. We can get our mindsets together. We can get our processes together. And if it's all day, I'm sure they're going to probably have other vendors out there for you to other get resources and things like that. So don't miss it. September 27th.
Yeah, and I remember the topic.
We're going to remember that topic. Oh my goodness. Well, I added this segment. I may shift it a little bit, but I call it, let's have a little chuckle. Okay. Just to kind of get to know you a little bit. If there was a meal that you had to eat for the rest of your life, this is it. What meal would it be?
No, that's so hard because what I would have said is changing. I don't know why. But I'm going to stick to it, and it's seafood.
Okay.
Right? So I love seafood. I don't think there is a type of seafood I don't like.
So just seafood.
Seafood in general, but oysters and crabs.
Okay.
So preferably blue crabs, but
Okay.
I don't know. It's changing.
It's changing. You're changing. We're unlearning some things. We're shifting, transitioning. All right, here's the next one. What is a fashion trend that you have secretly loved? And I know we didn't talk about the fashion element of you, but what's a fashion trend that you've secretly loved?
Oh my. Secretly loved?
Like, nobody's gonna like that, but I love this. This is something I'm gonna do. And you're a trendsetter anyway, but something that maybe everybody doesn't know that you
That is
like.
a good one. Oh, I'm drawing a blank, but I'm gonna go with, and I guess I can expose the secret now.
Okay.
It's press-on nails.
Press on, and they're beautiful. Oh my goodness. I wish everybody could see these nails. I have been looking at her nails for the last couple of months. She's like, Courtney, what are you? Girl, that's a good one.
Press-on nails. Yeah.
If you could be any animal, what would it be?
I'm gonna go with what came to me first, and that's a zebra.
Okay.
I've always loved the zebra print. I mean, it's black and white. It can go with any other color. You can mix any color with black and white.
It's true. Okay.
It stands out.
Yeah. Okay, I love it. All right. What is one of the funniest moments you've had while teaching?
Oh, yeah. Just happened last week. I was recording a lecture, and 38 minutes of recording. All these body language, gestures, everything, facial expressions, showing videos, no sound.
Oh, no. Oh, God. So it wasn't ASL? Wasn't your sign language class?
It was recorded with no sound.
Oh. That's not funny, though.
I had to laugh
Oh.
because I wasn't doing it over.
I said, that's it. So you can just do a voiceover. Maybe like a voiceover over the video.
Possibly.
So that way it all won't be lost. That
Yes.
content will still be usable. Oh my goodness.
38 minutes.
If you could be a household appliance, what would you be?
Oh, gosh. Blender.
Okay.
Because I like cohesiveness.
Okay.
It'll bring things together.
Yeah.
Harmony.
I love that.
And it smooths it out.
The process can be rough. It can be rigid. But in the end, it all works together
Yes.
for the good. I love that. And speaking of love, the last song on Dr. Coco's list was Straight Gate, He Loves Me. And I tell you, this whole month, I hope that you heard a resounding thing that regardless of how challenging life may be, regardless of how tumultuous your grasping with your mental health may be, our Heavenly Father, I love this, can turn it around. These are Courtney songs. He can turn it around because He knows best.
Wow.
And He loves us. Can we just hear that song, Straight Gate, He Loves Me?
This song makes me cry.
Probably won't play the whole thing. So this is a little long. It's 5:54. Probably won't have time to play the whole song.
Oh, okay.
Just because I want to do how they can stay in contact with you.
Oh, okay.
And I'll probably do one or two. Yeah. Good. Good.
You are excellent, Lita. You are excellent.
He's like,
Yes, this is you, baby.
hey, my tree.
This is your thing, girl. You are called to this.
Thank you.
Yes, it's natural.
Thank you.
It just flows.
And sometimes I don't know how, but I'm like, okay, Lord. And it, you know, like you as a psychologist, you got to be that listening and trying to find what is that personal connection. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be, I know what God is going to use for me as I continue to relax. Because y'all know me. It is just me. I was talking to one of the guys yesterday at Mixed Theory Studios. We were doing a video, and I said I'm working on, in a matter of speaking, being less refined.
Okay.
And just more relaxed. Okay. And, you know, I feel like I'm relatable, but even in another way, because people know me and just have put this. So with the errors, the bloopers, that's why I'm doing live. Like, the old me when
I think that's what has my anxiety. I
know
that's what has my anxiety.
And this is that vulnerable piece for me where I'm like, no, I want people, and I want to see the process. I want to see the bloopers. I want to see the growth over time. And you're letting people in, and you're becoming, like you said, always remaining teachable and being a student to what you're doing. And so, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I hope I gave enough information. I'm
you
like,
did.
oh my God.
We could go on and on. And because we've been talking about this all month, so every week it's been something on this vein. Like you tapped. That's why I didn't really get into the musical aspect of it so much, because we talked about sound, we talked about decibels, we talked about rhythm and rate. We talked about that really like every week. So today it was really kind of that just culmination and heavier on, you know, what you talked about, which was, you know, the psychology and mental health. It was perfect. It was perfect. So, I'm gonna tell her I'm not gonna play the whole song, but you can keep going. About 30 more seconds.
I don't know if y'all can hear
it.
it.
It's longer than
I figured.
That's why I was looking at you. Just
yes.
You tell me your rest.
Okay.
Thank you, Tris. Thank you, cousin Tasha. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but this is like one of my favorites.
Oh, he loves you. He loves you. He loves you. If you don't get anything out of this show today, make sure you know that our Heavenly Father, He loves you, and He is concerned about everything that is concerned about you. Courtney, Dr. Courtney Edwards-Randolph, can you please tell the people how they can stay in contact with you?
Yes, I am on Instagram. I have 2 pages. One of them in particular is my research page, which I need to do more of, but that is unmarried.degree.blackwomen. Okay, so that's on Instagram. And then you can also stay in touch with me on Facebook, Koi by Dr. Courtney T.
And that's K-O-I.
K-O-I. Koi by Dr. Courtney T. I do have a business line, 904-438-2755. Again, that's 904-438-2755. And I will be back practicing mental health counseling very soon and accepting clients. So make sure you take that phone number down.
I love that. Well, hopefully you have enjoyed the In the Know radio show. You have enjoyed this month on music and mental health. It has been incredible. It has been empowering. So make sure that you utilize it for your everyday life. I am Michellita Taylor, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Michellita, Michellita, Taylor, as traditionally spelled. Or you can check out my website at www.michellita.com. www.tailormadevoices.com, where you can find out everything that I am doing. So make sure you have an incredible Saturday. Continue to be in the know every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. right here on the Victory Station, FM 94.7, AM 1360. Have an incredible day.
Thank you. I can't see it.
Is that right? She said your phone number, 904-438-2755?
Yes.
Okay, yep, that's right. Yay! That was number 5, y'all. Did a whole month. Cannot believe it. Thank you guys for your support. It's going to get better and better, I promise. We're going to switch some things up, okay? Have an incredible day. Thanks.
In the know, in the know, in the know. In the know, in the know, in the know. This is the place to be. Turn your radio station to Victory, where the Spirit of the Lord is liberty. Tune in to the station that will set you free. We going up right now. Please tune in, don't touch that dial. We so blessed and you wanna know how, not talking. We just living out loud.